All right, my full-size UNLOCX build is complete. So this one took a little longer, just took longer to get all these parts done. But you can see here we got the full-size UNLOCX blaster here. I've modified it out. This is the original modular version, a little different than the V1 pistol-only version that I've shown you. Both great quality blasters at very reasonable prices, especially when they're on sale. That V1, which is just the pistol part, has been down to $50. So to get a $50 blaster with a motorized magazine, and it's like a magazine that's big, that goes over 200 FPS. I mean, there's nothing even close to that. And then this full version's been on sale for as low as $70. So I don't know why people aren't as into the UNLOCX. I mean, if you guys love Splatterball, this is a very similar caliber and quality to Splatterball. So I would certainly tell you guys, check out UNLOCX. Definitely a good blaster. And they're not, paying me to tell you that at all. They certainly did send me the blasters, but it really is a good deal too. I mean, I definitely feel that way. So let's talk about what all we did here. Obviously, I painted it out. This blue is paint that I picked, whereas the black, the only original paint on here is this black and then this little bit of white. Everything else was stuff that I painted, right? I thought I did the same thing on the V1, which I showed you. I just put a little rail and then a little grip just because of where this is located. That'd be another good grip point, I figured. And then put a rail out here, and then we got that grip there. I'll get a little more of a close-up here in a minute when we take it off the rack. Threaded tip. This actually has, if you buy the rifle version or 4-in-1, whatever we want to call it, the big one, there actually is a threaded tip under the little rectangle factory tip. So this was one where I didn't even have to build out some kind of way of putting a threaded tip on it. So that's cool. So that's what I went with there. Of course, got a couple different options that I could switch out to. I got the long version of that as well. Plus then this square one I thought would be kind of cool on this, but actually this piece touches it. So it doesn't allow it to go on, which is fine. I think it's cool with a round one too. Full length rail riser up top there. I like that. Just kind of, add something to it. Now this was obviously 3D printed, as were these parts, right? But this printed in multiple parts, and then you had to basically glue it together, and it was a huge pain. Took way too many steps, so I'm not going to use that one again. But it was the right length where I didn't have to do much to it. I just had to chop the back slightly. So that's why I went with it. And it was a different one than I've done before. I tried to mix it up and print different ones and try to show you guys different ones. So if you may recall, a long time ago, not a long time ago, several months ago when I modified this, I'd put a little auxiliary plug here so that you could run the battery into a battery box. So you could run an 11.1 volt. Now, you can put an 11.1 on these, but if you're using it extensively, you're likely going to break it. Okay. Now, a lot of these blasters I show you because it's cool to show you an 11.1 in there, but I use them very sparingly with an 11.1, so I haven't had any issues. So, not recommended to go that route. If you do, just know that you may end up breaking your blaster. It's kind of not even you will. It's just a matter of when. If you're using it often, if you're only going to shoot it occasionally, and by occasionally I mean like 10 minutes at a time with an 11.1, you'll probably be okay. But if you're out actually playing with it, shooting at other friends, having fun, it's going to end up shredding your gear. So keep that in mind. But anyway, since there was a little access hole there underneath that, I just went ahead and sanded it smooth and put my little logo on there because it filled that spot nicely. So big thing I did here was, of course, the buffer tube adapter. So that was a big change, right? So we got the buffer tube adapter. This is actually a Soma Direct aftermarket stock that you can buy, right? So this is just an aftermarket stock that slides onto any buffer tube, which is a cool one. But we got the battery back here now. Now, I did that for a couple reasons. Got this full rail riser on here, which would make it a pain to access the battery. But also this one has that battery that is basically meant to be built in and then charged with a USB charger over here, which is fine. It's just, I thought this would be better to relocate the battery. If you're actually using it a lot and playing it a lot, you probably want to have access to changing your battery a little easier instead of having to go plug the whole gun in, right? So that was a big thing I did there, and this is a really cool stock from Soma Direct. You can see here, if we look at the rail, I mounted a little logo there too, right? And then also, if we look on the front there, okay, so there's your front. Got your grip up here, and this was a rail that had a little concave groove so that it could fit nicely up against this piece, since that was a curved piece. And then, of course, we've got your magazine. You can slide in here. If I can do it this angle, not the easiest way to do it. So we'll go ahead. Get that in there. So there we go. The UNLOCX Gel Ball Blaster Master Edition. Lots of cool accessories. Added the buffer tube, relocated the battery. We got the full rail. We got the grips. We got the threaded tip. So what do you guys think? Comments, questions, please post them below. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. Of course, please like and subscribe and share with your friends. I'll also do a little shooting with it and just see where we're at with the FPS. I don't anticipate any issues unless this somehow is causing some friction with the gel balls, but that's very easily to test. We just remove it if it does. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Thanks for the support, and please make sure you participate in all the giveaways. Here's my newest custom UNLOCX build. This is the full-size UNLOCX, or the original or rifle style. Right, we got the threaded barrel, got a nice custom barrel on there, grip here, added the full-length rail riser through the little logo up there, little logo here where I had an access point in the past for the battery, and then the buffer tube conversion. So the battery's out here in the stock, and this is actually a stock from Soma Direct, so a cool stock that you could buy on Amazon. So let's shoot it a little bit and let's see where it's at FPS-wise. So it definitely seems to be getting shredded up by this. So we're going to go ahead and take that off. And that's not uncommon. Again, a lot of these are actually made for the airsoft as well. And the airsofts are a little smaller and shoot a little harder. So if you don't widen some of them out, or you don't have, a 250 plus FPS gel blaster, they sometimes can go ahead and shred the barrel or cause it to slow down. So let's try it now. Let's see where we're at for FPS. So slowing down about 180. So not really sure what would be causing that. Might have to mess around with it a little bit. Looks like it's possibly not quite lined up perfectly on the bottom here. So maybe this piece needs to get readjusted. But still, I think that's, 180 FPS is still, is still good, but it should be over 200. So I'll have to check around with that a little bit. That's what happens when you mod these. I know I've told you guys that before. You just kind of never know what's going to end up happening. Since I didn't mess with the barrel or anything, it's a little surprising, but it's an easy thing to test because I can take this piece off, and if I shoot with just the pistol style and hit over 200, then we know the problem is somewhere in between here. And it does look like it's possibly not slid in perfectly. So that might be the issue. So we'll mess around with that. So anyway, comments, questions, please post them below. Of course, please like and subscribe and share the channel with your friends and participate in all the giveaways. Thanks for the support.